Inspector General of Police fails to appear before Senate. Nigerian Army cautions personnel over social media use. Obafemi Awolowo University shut over tax evasion. And in sports, Nigeria joins new World Football Federation. These and more stories in a moment. I am Nten Ekbang with the news on the hour on television Nigerian. The Inspector General of Police, Mr. Ibrahim Idris, on Wednesday failed to appear before the Senate, the second time sending Joshak Habila, the Deputy Inspector General of Police, represent him. TV News correspondent completes the story.
The Senate had on Thursday summoned the Inspector General of Police to appear in the chamber after failing to appear over the arrest and detention of Senator Deno Melaye and the killings across Nigeria. For the second time, the chairman, Senate Committee on Police Affairs, Abu Ibrahim, reported during plenary that the Inspector General have traveled to Kaduna to assess the security situation, thereby sending a Deputy Inspector General of Police to represent him. The lawmakers registered their displeasure with the inability of the IGP to honor invitations by the Senate.
We need to register the displeasure of the Senate for the non-appearance of the Inspector General of Police on two incidents, where he was invited into this chamber. Now, if we begin to have this kind of conduct, I will say, with due respect, that it is our assaulting our collective resolve as a Senate to assist Mr. President.
I want to appeal to our colleagues. Let us approach this two ways. One way, we give him another period of time for him to reflect the enormity of the action, because whatever happens today sets a precedent for the future. And as such, it is important that we do not allow, when issues like this, we must ensure that the right thing is done.
Thereafter, the Senate directed the Committee on Police Affairs to look into the situation and report back within 1 week. In another development, the Senate condemned attacks on legislators for expressing their views on the floor of the Parliament. This followed a point of order cited by Senator Matthew Urogide, who told the senators how thugs attacked him in his state for speaking about the breaches inherent in the procurement process of 12 Tucano jets by the executive.
What I said was that we should revoke Section 143. Section 143 has prescribed different things to be said. I'm not ignorant of the provisions of this section of the Constitution. That signatures and all of that will have to be done. Investigations will have to be conducted along the way. But for somebody to work on it and mobilize thugs in my state, to lay in wait for me, to humiliate me, to do unto what is to me, was most unacceptable.
President of Senate Bukola Saraki consequently mandated the chairman of Police Committee to engage with the police on the issue and give a progress report. He emphasized that the legislative powers and privileges gives lawmakers immunity on their views in the chambers.
We must condemn any act of molestation, harassment, attack based on our views in this floor of the legislative houses. The Legislative House Powers and Privileges Act, which is an act that exists, signed by the President and is under Section 3, we have immunity from our views and our proceedings here. So I think that I'll be speaking, I'm sure, on behalf of all of us, to condemn that such an act. It's unfortunate that we have such an act where people are molested or harassed by expressing their views here.
Senator Matthew Urogide has cited Order 43 and raised a point of order on the molestation and assault by recruited hoodlums in his state. Charles Ibe, TVN News, Abuja.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tuku Buratai, has cautioned Army personnel over disclosure of classified information on social media. Lieutenant General Tuku Buratai, who was represented by the Chief of Policy and Planning, Major General Rashid Yusuf, stated this during the opening ceremony of the 2018 Officers Office Management and Document Security Workshop at the Command Officers Mess in Abuja.
The social media has brought out additional challenges to information security, which are being used by misguided personnel contrary to our service rules. The Nigerian Army has an extant policy on the use of social media, which prohibits, among others, the use of social media to discuss or disclose service matters. It is indeed very unfortunate and unprofessional for service personnel to resort to social media to disclose classified information or express grievances when the NA has well-established channels for addressing complaints.
The Chief of Administration, Major General Idris Al-Khali, while stating the essence of the workshop in an interview session with journalists, also reaffirmed the Chief of Army Staff's move to curtail the abuse of social media by Army personnel, especially with regards to document security and exposure of classified information serving as threat to national security.
If you recall, the Chief of Army Staff vision is to have a professional responsibility. So it's unprofessional for any officer or soldier to disclose any official information without authorization.
Officials of the Osun State Internal Revenue Service on Wednesday shut down the Obafemi Awolowo University OAU Ile-Ife for its failure to remit over 1 billion naira to the agency. The Revenue Task Force team sealed the Senate chamber and the administrative building before proceeding to seal the main gate, leaving pedestrian gate unlocked. The closure of the institution and other establishments in the state followed the expiration of the 7-day ultimatum issued to all affected establishments by the state government. According to him, the money owed by the institution was outstanding unremitted payee withholding taxes and development levy, which had become due and payable since year 2015 and 2016. More news reports after the break. Don't go away. For almost a decade, the Nigerian army have given their all to ensure that our dear country is not overrun by Boko Haram insurgents. Some have in the process paid the ultimate price, while many will forever live with indelible scars occasioned by their determination to protect the country, no matter the hurdle. Despite these, they have remained resolute and undaunted, and today, all territories the insurgents once took control of have been recaptured and normalcy restored. And now, for the first time in a long time, the end of Boko Haram is foreseeable. Therefore, the wisest thing for the remaining insurgents to do is to surrender today or face total destruction from the army. Remember, the Nigerian army will stop at nothing to ensure that total peace is restored in all parts of the country. So, be wise and embrace peace today or get ready to be ruthlessly dealt with. This message is brought to you by the Coalition on Conflict Resolution and Human Rights in Nigeria. Welcome back. The May Day celebration was marked with a rally at the Eagle Square in Abuja and presented an opportunity for organized labor, students, bodies and civil societies to harmonize and advocate for better working conditions for workers in Nigeria. For traders at the event, it was an opportunity to make brisk businesses. TVN News correspondent Juliet Oduji tells us more.
Workers all over the world celebrated the Workers' Day, also known as May Day, when workers come together to synergize for the common goal. In Abuja, the federal capital city, Nigerian workers converged at the Eagle Square to commemorate this year's Workers' Day. The event featured activities, rallies, and agitation for a better working condition. In attendance were organized unions, professional bodies, students, market men and women, as well as members of other civil societies organizations. They called up the government to review the national minimum wage.
All hope is not lost because we are still trusting that things will be okay, especially in respect of the minimum wage. We just had some public hearings a few days ago in all the various states of the Federation. It was categorized into 8 zones, which we participated, FCT inclusive, and we are asking for a review of the minimum wage to 66,500.
Traders of various wares, food vendors to list few, took position in their various stands and corners, which they maximized as a medium to make brisk business.
Because I know that if I come here, a lot of people will come here and I will sell market. Today the program is nice. People come sharp. They bring support So the market is good.
It is hoped that the government, with the workers, both civil and public sectors, to achieve a better working condition for the country. In Abuja, Juliet Uduji, TVN News.
And to some sports news now, Nigeria has joined the World Mini Football Federation, WMF, responsible for organizing six-a-side football, and has no link with the Federation of International Football Association, FIFA, which organizes football, including five-a-sides. President Mini Football Association of Nigeria, Andy Elewere, announced the membership in Abuja, stating that Nigeria joined the World Mini Football Federation to enable her participate in the African Mini Football Cup, scheduled to hold in Tripoli, Libya, between May 5 and May 12. He further revealed that Nigeria was officially accepted and affiliated by the World Mini Football Federation at its Extraordinary General Assembly of April 27, 2018, and are now one of the 144 countries that are duly accredited and affiliated to the WMF, whose membership cuts across the 6 continents of the world. Welcome to Living Treasures Academy. Enjoy a conducive and serene learning environment. Qualified and experienced teachers. Equipped computer laboratory and library. Secured atmosphere. Extracurricular activities. An all-embracing curriculum for total development of the child. Comprehensive education for leadership. Join us today from crèche to secondary levels. Living Treasures Academy, committed to excellence. President Mohamed Abdullahi Mohamed of Somalia has appealed to the international community to support efforts to help 500,000 people affected by the floods that have displaced close to 175,000 people from their homes. Mohamed, who visited Somalia's central region of Hirshabelle to assess the impact of flooding, said that his government was taking action to address the humanitarian crisis caused by the floods. The humanitarian crisis was caused by the Shahabelle River, which begins in the Ethiopian highlands and flows through Beledweyne and Hirshabelle state capital of Johor, and it burst its banks following the onset of heavy rains which began last month. The United Nations had warned that the heavy rains were worsening conditions in overcrowded internally displaced persons settlement and displacing more people along riverine areas due to flooding. And just before we go on the news hour, a recap of the major stories. Inspector General of Police fails to appear before Senate. Nigerian Army cautions personnel over social media use. Obafemi Awolowo University shut over tax evasion. And we also reported in sports that Nigeria has joined the new World Football Federation. Thanks for being part of the bulletin. Do enjoy your evening. And don't forget that walking with a friend in the dark is better than walking alone in light. Thanks for watching. I am Nten Epang. Bye-bye.